What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of We Need to Talk. This here is episode 312. Happy Saturday and all that. Once again, back in the building, feeling positive, feeling blessed, in the zone, doing things congruent to my goals, to my manifestation plans. And for all of you who are part of the replay gang and you can't see the website, check the link in my bio for everything that you need in regards to healing and upgrading and reaching peak levels in all four of my zones of happiness: psychology, life purpose, partnerships, and physical health. If you are looking to upgrade yourself in any of those categories, and you find deficits, you find barriers, you find difficulties in upgrading yourself, definitely be sure to hit the link in my bio, search out the Evolve membership. It's definitely the most all-inclusive approach that you'll find to being able to heal yourself and to grow and to change and reach new levels and deactivate old subconscious programming and get yourself right into the space of manifestation. And shout out to my Evolve members as well. Those of you who have recently joined, it's much appreciated. You are joining a prestigious ecosystem. So shout out to you guys. Definitely did a workshop today. I do my workshops on Saturdays, so definitely was a dope one. Let's see who's in the building for real. Dawn, what's up? Nancy, what's up? So you earlier. Tay, what's up? Nashis 99, what's going on? Always and forever. How you feeling? So, man, today I also had, what's up, Erica? I had the honor of presenting with for a virtual event for Linda Edwards. She's a friend of Erica, and man, Latasia, what's up? Nancy, that's good. Yeah. I can tell you were learning in there. Yeah, with the notebook and everything, so I can see the gears clicking. So I'm really glad that you pulled up and got the info for sure. Trina, what's up? So like I was saying, Brent, what's up? What's going on? I was afforded the opportunity to speak at a virtual event tonight by way of Linda Edwards, who is a friend of Erica, who's in here as well. And we both were able to, co-lead a discussion, talk some healing, still what's up, and just chop it up, just about just relationships and the the ins and outs, the ups and downs. Ruby Knight, how you doing? Good to see you. Latasha, how you doing? The ups and downs of relationships, and it was one of those where there wasn't really a general or an outline to follow. And I like it either way. But when it happens like that, it's always good, because then we can go where we need to go and where the flow goes. So there was people in the room looking for the information, looking for the knowledge and things like that, the strategies. And one young lady, great job to you as well, Erica, for sure. It was a great teamwork in there. One young lady was in there, and get y'all opinion on this here, man. So, and it was good. We played off of, I held down, the male side, and then, Erica held down the female side, and then we were able to collaborate, because there was questions on, as a guy, I was I was cornered. I felt cornered. Never sweat. Trust me on that. But I felt like, all right, so I'm supposed to represent for the entire, entire guy population and stuff like that. But you know, this young lady was on there, and she was pretty vocal in the situation because, you know, she has a fiance. She has a really young daughter that was kind of in and out the camera, so that was cool. Wilmer Black, what's up? So she has a fiance. I'm not sure how long they've been dating in general, but she mentioned that, you know, I think she just was coming off of a trip that she set up for him. Shari, what's up? The trip that she set up with him, to, you know, for them to have a little getaway, have a little time together, have a little, you know, hotel type of experience in a different area, different scene. You know, this pandemic, it's got everybody feeling boxed in. She was like, look, we need to change the scenery. We need a little, you know, connection and a little us time, right? And she was saying to me, which all those things I get. She was saying basically in the room that he was a little reluctant in the process. So that you know, her fiance was kind of like, you know, man, like, where are we going? And once they got there, couldn't we have did this at home? You know, why we go all the way out here? And you know, so presenting resistance to, you know, having new different experiences, new experiences, you know, breaking up the monotony, and he was a little bit resistant to that. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of resistance, and didn't seem to enjoy it as much as she did. And so she was asking for like some advice on that, like, you know, that type of thing. And you know, I started by saying that, you know, personally, I can't relate, because I think she said it in a way where she thought that I was gonna relate to him, that I was gonna have, you know, just because a guy did something somewhere, that you know, all guys got their back. The reason I got his back though was on the capacity level, meaning when it comes to, you know, guys, because there was a lot of guys and women, different type to talk to, and the reason I wanted to say this, it's not based on, you know, like a capacity, like we're all incapable of being creative or things like that. I think with possibly what was going on, and I'm not in a house, so I don't know enough, but you know, part of it is just temperament, you know, just different, you know, home. She mentioned him being a homebody, different things like that, and I think the way I've postured it is that I think, in order for them, because they're already fiance, you know, they're already together, so it's not like she can go back and get somebody who likes that kind of stuff. Like that's not gonna work right now. And it's already working up to this point, so as far as I know. So that's why I pretty much told them, I was like, you know, maybe when those things happen, there can be some, you know, like a compromise on both sides, so both parties have a little bit of autonomy in the process, or in the itinerary, a little bit of say so on how different things go. Because if he's a guy who's just largely uninterested in, you know, if he's not romantic type, or he's not, like, it's nothing I can say to make that really happen. I can encourage and say, you know, you definitely want to, on both sides, you guys want to compromise for each other. That's the whole point of it. So I'm not gonna sit there and say he's should just sit down and just never do stuff that she enjoys, because then it's gonna end. It's over with at that point. But I definitely am an advocate for fun on both sides, engaging the sparks between you. And I think it, you know, I don't know if he's at a level where there's so much going on, or he's just, you know, at a point where he's affected by so many things, or as a man, sometimes you focus on several responsibilities and don't allow yourself to have chill time, relaxed time, to enjoy different things. You kind of are focused on handling and providing to a degree. There's elements of that. And then again, just maybe his personality type and things like that. But, as y'all know, I'm always somebody who is like, sync up as best as you can with somebody who not is just gonna let you drag them somewhere, but who loves the stuff that you love, right? And I find this a lot too when it comes to the romance element. Now, me personally, I'm a very romantic person. I love doing it. You're not gonna have to, whoever I connect with is not gonna have to be like nagging me to be romantic. That's the last thing that would ever happen, because it's part of how I think. And as a creative in general, but especially in the love experience, I'm somebody who's like, look, I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm developing an inventory of things you like, things you enjoy, maybe things you always wanted to do, never got a chance to do. And I'm developing ways as we date and as we grow and develop the connection. I'm thinking of ways on how I can set up the experiences. I'm major in I'm an experienced guy. Quality time, physical touch, my top levels and stuff like that, like in words and stuff after that. But I'm really big on experiences, memories, anniversaries, holidays, stuff like that. Creating the experiences, creating the memories that we can look back on later, that we can laugh about later, that we can enjoy visualizing and things like that. That's a major thing for me. So when it comes to that part of the process, that's something I love to do anyway. You'd be hard pressed to get much consistency out of somebody who doesn't find the value in that, or who's not wired to prioritize romantic elements in a relationship. You can want it all you want. You can ask for it all you want. You can put the pressure, you can put the ultimatums. You're not going to implant desire. You're not going to implant creativity into people who generally are not creative in that space. People may be very linear, and that may be their strength. They may be very linear. So somebody who can, architect and, carpentry and X equals O and things like that. But they're not really, they don't do the variance thing. They're not the poets. They're not the, the Casanova type or whatever. They don't really do all of that. It's not about getting that person to do that, because now you're requesting things outside. And here's the unfair part. To expect and request consistency in elements that you didn't require to get with them in the first place. If you didn't require it in the beginning, how can you then pressure somebody to be consistent in that area when they never were? So these are questions worth asking, because now if you dated somebody let's go all the way back to the beginning. Let's say you dated somebody in the beginning. They were like, I'm romantic. It's something I love to do. Blah, blah, blah. And then they doing it in the beginning to hook you. And then after that, down the line, y'all been together for like 2-3 years or whatever. That went out the window after a year and a half. And then you talk to that person about it, and then they kind of like, every time you nag them, they do it for 2 weeks and then stop. That's them being dishonest. And that's on them. And then you have the choice, if it's priority for you, to leave if you want. But if you have somebody who was never like that, but because 3 years into the marriage, you now want some of that. You expect that person to now become something different than they already were. That ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna work. And it's gonna create animosity because now you're adding undue pressure to somebody who has been thorough, who's been whoever they were beforehand. And then now the expectation is you need to go into this chamber and transform yourself. Okay, be this other person now and do that with 100% consistency and don't fail on it. No lapses, right? No days off, right? This ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work like that. So, it's really about, and I'm always big on this, and this is something that I said in there as well. Sean, what's up? It's about who you are or who they are before they meet you. What are the priorities before they meet you? Because if you meet somebody and then impose your priorities onto them for as long as you can, there's a drop-off point, right? So if romance wasn't a priority, and then here's the other part too. If you have somebody who does what you want them to do, that's not good either. If you have somebody who is healing themselves for you, who's going to that counselor for you, who is being romantic because you like it, that's gonna end at a certain point, because that person isn't honoring who they actually are. It's only so long you can uphold somebody's every request or somebody's, just to acquiesce to somebody's complete agenda like that. There's only so long you can survive under that kind of regime. So, Brent says, can we agree that when people first start dating, they don't always show their true selves? They acclimate their behavior. Right, and that's exactly what my dating game is for. It's for that very problem, because a lot of times, you're right, in the dating process, individuals, be lying about some shit, or ask you a bunch of questions so they know how to respond, so they know who they're supposed to be, in order to connect with you or say the right things, and those people who master the right things to say. And again, even in that experience, energy is energy, and if you're at that calm state, right, where intuition is dominant, so you are not in a fear-based, I'll take what I can get, I'm scared of being lonely, so I'm over-compromising. When you're not in that, when you're in a calm state of, no real expectation, right? And you're in a calm, observant state, right? The energy's gonna speak, number one, before that person speaks. That's just a fact. The energy will speak to you. And then in a calm, observant state, and in a zero stakes state, right? Not this has to work because I ain't had a date in a while. Not this has to work because I haven't had a boyfriend or girlfriend for 5 years. Not this has to work because I feel like I want somebody to date and somebody to connect with right now. Not this date has to work because I need companionship. That, when you do it like that, even if they lie, you'll miss every single way to detect that they lie. People will give you contradictions immediately if you just let them talk long enough. People will show you what's up really fast. even if it's by virtue of imbalance. Now let's talk, okay, I see narcissists. Let's talk the narcissists, right? Let's talk about that. If somebody you ain't known that long is hitting you with the love shit up to here to where they just overwhelming you with just so much gas, right? It's just, love this, love that, we could be, and they hitting you with all of that. The unhealed you is taking that and accepting that because of the void. But without the void, you look at it as insane. You look at that like, you don't even know me. What's all this love shit? You don't know me well enough. So you value yourself to know I'm valuable, right? And I deserve people talking like that. But what compels you to do that at such an early stage? Something's off with you. Now, to be able to be powerful enough and confident enough to say that, it's a lot of healing to be done. That just don't happen all the time, right? But it's the voids and that unhealed inner child that's like, sure, yeah, I love this. I haven't had this in a long time, or I never had this in a long time. I'm impressionable, empath. I need that. That's the reciprocation I've been looking for all this time. No, it's not. But I say this to say a lot of, and I get where you guys are coming from, but the liars are not as powerful as you. The liars are not as powerful as you. Would you believe me if I told you that you did see a lot of red flags, but there may have been stages in the game where you were too weak at that point to be able to act on them. So you rationalize your way out of it. You turn a blind eye to it. It ain't about evidence, it's what you do with it. If you got exhibit A through C and then you put it in the shredder, the person doesn't get convicted. It ain't about, oh, they tricked me. You had the paperwork, but you shredded it. You turned a blind eye, or you took your contacts out, huh? You can't say, and this is where I'm about to go with it. You can't say, okay, when it comes to women specifically, women's intuition and we experience this and we're in tune emotionally and energy and vibes, and then in the same breath say this person just totally, I don't know, they bamboozled me, they got me. Because that says that's the point when you say, where the accountability doesn't occur. Now, do they have accountability for lying? Hell yeah. For manipulating? Hell yeah. Yeah. Especially when there's abusive stuff going on and all of that. There's no, you don't deserve that. But if you ignore things around it and let someone in, you let the intruder in the house. What they do in the house is sequentially a byproduct of being let in. So it comes down to heal the parts that put when those blinders, auto blinders, and those auto rationalizing mechanisms, heal the parts that are connected to those, because those will get in the way of you being successful in this situation. Those will get in the way because you are powerful at your best. You are powerful enough to see through the shit. These people ain't that good at what they're doing. But it's the calm, it's the patience, it's the reading the full scope, not, okay, I got sunglasses on, I'm trying, nah, like the full clarity, the 2020, and the I could care less how this goes mentality. There's no hook. They don't have my heart in their hands. They don't have my dreams of manifesting the one in their hands, because that's where they get off. They get off on your needs. These people go on needs assessments. These narcissists and shit like that. They go on needs assessments. They sit with you long enough to see where your weak areas are. What do you need? Oh, I need somebody to okay, I'm listening. They're not listening to see if it's a match. They're listening to see how to create a way to give you just enough of that for you to follow their agenda. And so they're seeing that there's a very weak area right here that I can take advantage of by just simply giving her the things. And a lot of times, you guys go on dates, you figure that's normal. He's asking me about what I like. Here's what I like. And then so they doing the scan. Okay. Just like a somebody who robbery. How they scan for a mark. You know what I'm saying? When it's how to rob somebody, you just scan certain movements, how they move, what their awareness is like, whether they're on the phone or preoccupied. That's how criminals scout out people to become a mark or a victim for something. Catch them slipping, or when they're at their weakest. That's when you hand it. And if you are someone who is broken, brokenness is a weakness. Broken leg, weakest area. Broken arm, that's your weakest area. Your most vulnerable areas are scouted by people, which is why I say you gotta do the healing first. You gotta do the healing first. Because unhealed, they know how to target you. They know how to target you. They know your weak areas because you're telling them exactly where they are. And then they start to build on that need, that necessity that you have, and then create that strong emotional connection by pressing that button incessantly until you're months in and can't get out of it. You're being shamed and the person is disrespecting you, mental abuse, whatever. And then now you're emotionally tired, you're depressed, you're ups and downs, you're still trying to follow what they're talking about. And you're now caught in this Saw 6 type of trap, barbed wire. You don't know how to get out of this alive because you've endured so much extra damage. They saw the weak areas and they made them weaker. We have to understand how real that is. They saw your weaknesses, and their agenda was to make those weaker and create a dynamic where they wouldn't need to, they just have to perform. They don't need to fulfill your needs like that. They don't have to become really the thing that you want or the person that you want. They just gotta put, now it's performance. Now a weak, vulnerable, over defensive individual, the reason they're so good at acting and performing is because they have done so most of their life. This character was built, this narcissist was built, constructed by years of defense building. You think of like the Great Wall? I think it was like 2,000 years it took to build that or something like that. Think of it like that. You can see that shit from space. You realize the construction, the consistent construction. Because again, that narcissist, that grandiose mental mindset, overbearing, torturous, manipulating individual used to be a weak little kid. Used to be a weak kid who was either abandoned or who was utilized as a tool but never loved for who they are. Or a myriad of different things that happen to hurt that person at their core when they had virtually no defenses against it. So the vow became, I will never be defenseless ever again. I'm gonna build a brick. I'm 6 years old, I'm gonna build a few bricks. 7 years old, the wall is higher. 10 years old, the wall is higher. 15, 20, 25, 35, right? The wall becomes like the Great Wall. We're talking years, decades of defense building. And when you build a defense, you can't see the person on the other side. And that's intentional. So who you meet is the gatekeeper. The real them will never be revealed to you. But the whole time, if you're an empath or whatever, you're giving them the whole you day one. Here's, and this is why it's such a terrible match. Here's all of me, wide open, all just super vulnerable. You take the super vulnerable person and match them with an empath whose real core is light years away, behind lasers, tanks. Just, you're never gonna see that. So they are predatory in the sense that, number one, they hate you. And let's get to that. They hate you because they hate what you look like. You're the defenseless, vulnerable child that they were. They hate their former self. They hate their former self with a passion. That's why they built years of separation between them and anything that they do visually or tangibly, just in society, period. There's so much of a distance there. So they hate what you represent so much that they are willing to treat you like shit. Not because of you. And that's the difference too. A lot of times people who deal with narcissists think, okay, you know, he treated me like he hate me. I don't understand what I did. I didn't do nothing. Right. For who and what you represent. It ain't gotta be the same gender. It's the vulnerability in you, the impressionable elements of you. And that's why I say the inner child, when we talk about the impressionable children, impressionable empaths, impressionable, the energy affects you. Right? It's the inner child thing. It's still active. Right? So they hate that mirror so much because, again, they work so hard to get rid of it. They worked hard their entire lives almost to get rid of the memory of that part of themselves. And here you walk in. Hey, looking for companionship, vulnerable shit. Take me on the table. And then they're like, oh man, this is a torture experience. So they want to, and here's the other part. Here's why they want to trick you so bad. Number one, you got to be a trickster, magician, or whatever to keep people from seeing who you actually are. So they're going to shapeshift. I'm love bombing this day. Next day, I'm threatening to have sex with somebody else. It's just like, you know, you have to shapeshift. But also, the greatest trick is the fact that they thought, being a kid, that their parents were going to love who the hell they actually were. They were tricked into believing that unconditional love was something that they were going to be able to get as a kid. They got tricked with that. They didn't get that. So when it comes to you, there's no remorse on not becoming what you expect me to be, because their parents weren't what they expected them to be. They didn't get what they expected. They didn't get what they deserved out of life. Those architects of their future relationship life, they didn't get that. So if I don't get it, you don't get it. So let me make you feel like it's coming and then give you the worst experience of your life. Because that's the trajectory of that person's life growing up in their family environment and in their experience. You see the replay of this. I'm telling you, shit is in a loop. It's you take, and this is just automatic. That's why I'm always big on the healing, because you have to reverse it. If you don't work to reverse and heal through these things, you put yourself in a loop, and you may either end up enduring torture or torturing somebody else, or both. The toxicity match, nobody comes out right, because this is a replay, and somebody is just on a script, and it's unfortunate because we're so much more powerful than that. We're so much more powerful than that. We are able to do so much. We're able to unhinge ourselves from certain things. We're able to grow in certain areas. We're able to change in so many ways. But it has to be a choice. And some people need a bunch of failed relationships to get it. Some people need their ass beat. Nah. Some people need a brick wall, so to speak. So for their routine to then stop working and then cause so much emotional backlash that they say, okay, I gotta stop this. Then some people, unfortunately, will go their entire lives not making those changes and not being accountable for how they have treated other people, and ultimately how they have dealt with what has been implanted. See, those core beliefs are major. It's a strong situation, and just because something is implanted, just because you develop beliefs as a youth in a certain situation, doesn't mean that you have to exist in that fashion, or that you have to unleash revenge on the planet or anyone that you date, right, moving forward, or that you have to be in expectation of neglect, abuse, etc., and then carry on that trend with everyone you date until you're dead. This is not your fate, unless you're fine with it being that way. Now, this is what I work to fight against, because my platform stands for the people who are like, this is what's been happening. This is my piece of why it's been happening like that. I don't want it to happen no more. That's a strong place. And that's why I love what I do. Because if you guys are at that stage, I can tell you, I got you. It's easy from here. You just tune in, get a membership, stuff like that, get access to everything that I'm creating, everything I'm building, writing, speaking. I'm putting it into a multimedia, approach, so that, one-on-one coaching as well, putting it into an approach where I essentially can create a new ecosystem for you, so that we do the repairs, right? You take somebody out of a war zone and shit. Clothes all tattered up, flashbacks, memories, expectations that are negative. Okay, come in here. We're going to live in this Wakanda, right? I'm going to show you how to develop the force field. I'm going to show you how to repair, with that little tool that the girl had with this. I got lasers in here. We're gonna remove some toxins. We're gonna remove some tumors. We're gonna work into training as far as expectations, thoughts, reversing or augmenting, changing our core beliefs to be more healthy, more peace-minded, more positively expecting of certain things, right? And we're gonna make sure, okay, the borders are still set, cool, so that we're not inviting in more torture, so that we're not inviting in more harm. We gotta keep that. So you'll hear me talk about boundaries on top of purging, on top of new information. That's really the whole thing about it. So that's why, in a very multimedia fashion, I gotta hit all the points, because in essence, you've been operating in the same way for your entire life. So those circuits can be really strong, those responses, those emotional responses and things like that, and perspectives, all of that, strong. And I get that. So we got to be strong back. We can't, it's no days off. We got to be in the space to ingest the information. And I make it fun. I try to get as many ways as I can get it to you. You want to read it, hear it, visualize it. We want to joke on it. I got music and shit. Like, we gonna get it in there. That's all I'm saying. We gonna get my job is to get the information in there, whatever way works best for you personally, so that, and so many times that it works itself into your second nature. You develop a second nature that rejects toxicity, can spot toxicity, does not utilize high levels of defense mechanisms, denial and things like that, but you're in a space where you are protected, you are expecting things to work out in your favor, you are in a confident space to go on these different dates and things like that and realize the energy, make moves as necessary, but to have access to those upper levels of feeling on a daily basis, regardless of what's going on outside, right? We create the internal structure, the internal paradise, so that's your second nature. Right now, most of your second nature is based on your core beliefs. That's a rock. That's as is based on all of the previous things I talked about, the upbringing, the trauma, the abandonment, abuse, neglect, things like that. So we're making a transition, and I definitely love the process. If you are at the space of, you see it all happening, you have the experiences, you know what you don't like, you know what you do like, you know where you went wrong at, and even if you don't know where you went wrong at, if you're open to, okay, I want better results, that's where I'm at, you know what I'm saying? So again, shout out to you guys. Hopefully this resonated and hit some points. Today definitely wanted to just see where we could organically go. And I appreciate you guys putting stuff up there as I'm talking, because those questions are necessary. I want to address what's relevant to you, because you will go on these, or you have gone on these dates and things like that, people fabricating and lying and things like that. But at your best essence, at your top level, that means nothing. And it can be spotted from home. You don't have to be in somebody's presence to get that energy and to be able to read that. The difference is when you're in a space that's healed enough to read it, you respond to that evidence accordingly, and that strength happens at that space as well. Again, to protect your borders, right? This is incredibly important, because an unhealed decision that ignores red flags can put you in a devastating spot and possibly ruin everything as far as anything you want to manifest moving forward. So much appreciated for you guys. If you're interested in becoming a member, click the link in my bio, shoot me a DM and things of that sort. Would love to be a part of your healing and growth. Man, see you guys tomorrow. It's and shoot me topics too. If you got something you're going through, you want to put the topic up. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time, so a lot of times in the comments I can pretty much see. But you guys have a great night. Stay positive. Blessed, man. Focus on the blessings. You are closer than you were before. So each day focus on the happiness, the growth, the positivity, everything that you can gain and extract from every circumstance that happens, and you'll be on your way. So good night to all of y'all, and I'll see you tomorrow night.